At the entrance gate of a golf course, a bronze plaque beside it, an old horse-drawn plough and scoop are placed. Together, they quietly tell the story of how one of the world's greatest golf courses came to life. The plaque pays tribute to three remarkable men: Dr. Alister MacKenzie, Alex Russell, and head greenkeeper Michael Morecambe. Together, they transformed the natural sandbelt dunes of Melbourne into a legendary golf course admired throughout the world today. What makes that achievement even more extraordinary is that the east and west courses were constructed using little more than this horse drawn plough and scoop. Long before bulldozers, laser guided shaping, or modern earth moving equipment, they created one of golf's greatest masterpieces by working with the land rather than against it. Hidden among the rolling sand dunes and native eucalyptus woodlands on the outskirts of Melbourne lies Royal Melbourne Golf Club. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I am your host Bhupendra Singh. For me, Royal Melbourne is more than a world famous golf course. I had the privilege of briefly working alongside its course maintenance team, an experience that offered a rare glimpse behind the scenes. It allowed me to appreciate not only the brilliance of Mackenzie's architecture, but also the dedication of the greenkeeping team that continues to preserve his vision nearly a century later. Consistently ranked among the finest golf courses in the world, Royal Melbourne is widely regarded as the crowning achievement of Dr. Alister MacKenzie and Alex Russell. Built upon the naturally undulating terrain of Australia's famous Sandbelt, the West Coast is celebrated for its firm playing surfaces, rugged bunkering, and beautifully contoured greens that reward imagination every bit as much as precision. This is not simply a walk around 18 remarkable holes. It is a journey through one of the purest expressions of golf course architecture ever created. Every great round at Royal Melbourne begins with a sense of discovery. The outward nine introduces golfers to the course's distinctive character, where generous fairways encourage confidence. Yet, every bunker, contour, and natural slope quietly influences the next decision. Rather than dictating a single route to the green, Royal Melbourne offers choices, rewarding imagination, thoughtful positioning, and an understanding of the landscape over sheer power. The outward journey is more than an introduction. It is the first lesson in one of golf's greatest strategic masterpieces. Every great golf course introduces itself in its own way. Some demand power from the opening tee, others rely on spectacle. Royal Melbourne does neither. Instead, the first hole quietly introduces the architectural philosophy that defines the entire course. From the tee, the fairway appears broad and welcoming, encouraging a confident opening drive. But farther ahead, it gradually narrows, posing the first strategic question of the day: how much of the fairway are you prepared to challenge? The board line rewards longer hitters with a shorter approach, while a more conservative drive leaves additional distance but simpler route to the green. Neither option is right or wrong. Royal Melbourne simply asks golfers to choose the strategy that best suits their game. The approach continues this lesson. A solitary bunker guards the right side of the green, while a gentle swale along the front left subtly shapes the preferred angle of attack. Finding the putting surface is only part of the challenge. The real reward comes from positioning the ball beneath the hole, where the green's natural contours become an ally rather than an obstacle. There is nothing extravagant about this opening hole, yet it reveals everything that makes Royal Melbourne exceptional. Wide fairways encourage confidence, natural landforms shape strategy, and intelligent design rewards thoughtful decision making over brute force. It is a gentle beginning to the round, but also the first glimpse into the genius of Dr. Alister MacKenzie, a course where every shot invites not just execution but careful thought. The second hole introduces one of Royal Melbourne's defining characteristics: choice. From the tee, golfers are immediately faced with a strategic decision. The borderline challenges a diagonal chain of fairway bunkers, rewarding a successful carry with a much shorter route to the green. The safer option avoids the hazards but leaves a considerably longer second shot. It is a classic risk and reward created not by water or forced carries but by intelligent design. The approach is no less subtle. The green falls gently from right to left, encouraging players to use the natural contours rather than attack the flag directly. A well judged shot can feed toward the hole, while one carrying too far leaves a delicate recovery from firm sandbelt turf. The second hole introduces one of MacKenzie's enduring principles. A great golf course never dictates a single solution. It simply rewards the golfer who makes the better decision. The third demonstrates one of Royal Melbourne's most important lessons. The best approach begins with the right position from the tee. Almost modest in length, the hole demands accuracy rather than power. The ideal drive finishes along the right side of the fairway, opening the preferred angle into the green and allowing the golfer to work with the natural contours instead of fighting against them. The approach plays over a gentle rise before descending toward a beautifully contoured green. A shallow swale protects the front left entrance, encouraging players to use the ground as part of the shot. On the firm sandbelt, success depends on choosing the correct landing point and allowing the ball to release naturally towards the target. There are no dramatic hazards here. The fairway creates the angle, the landscape shapes the shot, and the green decides the outcome. It is architecture doing exactly what great architecture should, rewarding imagination as much as execution. The fourth introduces one of Royal Melbourne's most dramatic natural features, a towering sand dune that shapes the entire strategy of the hole. Rather than altering the landscape, Dr. MacKenzie allowed the land to dictate the design. From the tee, golfers drive blind over the crest of the dune towards the landing area hidden beyond the ridge. The boldest line challenges the famous carry bunkers concealed over the rise, dramatically shortening the hole and opening the possibility of reaching the green in two. Yet, only the longest and most confident players can attempt this route with certainty. The safer option works around the dune, sacrificing distance for position. Even then, the hole continues to ask questions. Players attempting the green in two must thread their approach between strategically placed bunkers guarding the entrance, where a slight mistake can quickly turn an eagle opportunity into a difficult par. The fourth is far more than a risk and reward par 5. It demonstrates one of Mackenzie's greatest beliefs. The landscape should never be altered to suit the golf course. The golf course should be shaped by the landscape. The fifth is widely regarded as one of the finest par 3s in world golf, proving that greatness has little to do with length. From the elevated tee, the shot plays across a shallow valley to a green resting naturally on the opposite hillside. The view appears inviting, yet the challenge lies entirely in the contours of the land. A steep bank protects the front of the green, rejecting any shot struck without complete commitment. Come up short, and the ball gathers back into the valley below. Carry the green, however, and equally demanding tests a waist, with one of the quickest downhill putts on the course. The ideal approach finishes just beneath the hole, allowing the natural slope to become an ally rather than an opponent. There are no shortcuts, no heroic options, only one question: can you control both distance and trajectory with complete precision? That elegant simplicity is what has made the fifth one of Dr. Alister MacKenzie's greatest one shot holes. The sixth is one of Royal Melbourne's finest two shot holes and a masterclass in strategic design. Here, Dr. MacKenzie demonstrates how a single perfectly positioned hazard can influence every decision without ever forcing one. From the tee, the eye is drawn to a broad expanse of heathland and sand cutting across the inside corner of the dogleg. Golfers face an immediate choice: challenge the bunkers with a bold carry to shorten the hole, or play safely to the wider left side and accept a longer approach. Yet, the shortest route is not always the easiest. Drives hugging the inside corner often leave a difficult angle, requiring the approach to carry one of the course's most awkward greenside bunkers. The safer line from the left may be longer, but it opens a far more inviting path to the flag. The green rises sharply from front to back, placing a premium on distance control. Approaches finishing above the hole leave frighteningly quick downhill putts, making position every bit as important as accuracy. The sixth perfectly illustrates Mackenzie's philosophy. Great strategy is not created by punishment, it is created by offering golfers meaningful choices. At just 148 yards, the seventh proves that a great par 3 is measured not by length, but by precision. Playing gently uphill, the green stretches across the line of play, creating a deceptive visual target. From the tee, it appears generous, yet its true complexity only becomes apparent after the ball lands. A deep bunker guards the entire right side of the green, protecting the smallest and flattest section of the putting surface where many hole locations are found. Taking on that line offers an excellent birdie opportunity, but only with a perfectly struck shot. The safer play is left of the bunker, accepting a longer putt across sweeping contours that demand exceptional pace. Even from the green, the challenge is far from over. The seventh asks a beautifully simple question: how much risk are you willing to accept for the chance of a better score? Few holes ask it with greater elegance. The eighth is another reminder that Royal Melbourne measures success through positioning rather than distance. The fairway appears generous from the tee, but the ideal drive finishes on the left half, where a remarkable chain of rugged bunkers blends naturally into the surrounding tea tree and heathland. Their purpose is not simply to punish poor shots, but to influence where the next one should be played from. The drive, positioned correctly, opens the ideal angle into one of the smallest greens on the course. From the right side of the fairway, however, the approach becomes considerably more demanding, with bunkers tightly protecting the green's edge. The safest approach is often towards the center, allowing the firm sandbelt contours to guide the ball naturally towards the hole. Precision of placement matters far more than aggression. The eighth quietly reinforces one of Royal Melbourne's enduring lessons: a great approach is earned by great tee shot. The outward nine concludes with one of Royal Melbourne's most elegant par fours, played across the rolling sand dunes and natural valleys that define the character of the West Coast. The drive climbs over sandy ridge before descending into the valley beyond. Although the fairway appears generous, the preferred line is the left side, opening the best angle into the elevated green. Drives finishing right leave a more awkward approach across the natural slope, where both distance and direction become harder to judge. The second shot rises steadily to a long, narrow green protected by bunkers on either side. Rather than flying the ball directly at the flag, the wiser play is often to use the firm ground. A well judged approach landing on the right side can release gently across the contours towards the center of the green, once again demonstrating the brilliance of Sandbelt golf. The ninth brings together everything the outward journey has revealed: natural landforms, thoughtful positioning, creative shot making, and the intelligent use of the ground. It is more than the closing hole of the outward nine, it is a perfect introduction to the architectural genius of Royal Melbourne. The inward nine reveals the principles of golf architecture at their finest. Every hole builds upon what has come before, asking golfers to shape shots, trust the ground, and embrace strategic risk where opportunity appears. Here, the famous Sandbelt bunkers, firm running fairways, and beautifully contoured greens combine to create one of the most admired closing stretches in world golf. This is more than a test of golfing skill, it is a masterclass in golf course architecture. The inward journey begins with one of Royal Melbourne's most celebrated strategic holes. At just over 300 yards, the 10th proves the great architecture is measured not by length but by choice. From the tee, the eye is immediately drawn to the enormous bunker carved into the left hillside, aptly named Hell's Half Acre. More than a hazard, it is the strategic heart of the whole, influencing every decision before club is even selected. The fairway falls sharply away before climbing toward a small green perched high on the hillside. Conservative players may choose an iron or fairway wood, leaving a full wedge approach, while the more adventurous attempt to drive much closer to the green. Both strategies are equally valid, but neither is without consequence. The approach demands complete commitment. A pronounced swale guards the front of the green, while deep bunkers protects its right side. A shot lacking conviction rolls back down the slope. An overly aggressive attempt may finish in sand instead of on the putting surface. The genius of the 10th lies in its freedom. Royal Melbourne never tells golfers how to play the hole. It simply rewards those who commit to their decision. That is why the 10th remains one of the world's greatest short par fours. The 11th is one of Royal Melbourne's strongest par fours, demanding two precisely executed shots played in perfect sequence. The drive descends gently through the rolling landscapes before the hole climbs steadily towards an elevated green. Positioning is everything. The ideal line hugs the left side of the fairway, opening the best angle into the green and shortening the uphill approach. Drives finishing safely to the right leave a far more demanding second shot from an inferior angle. The approach is equally exacting. A deep bunker guards the front right entrance, while the green rises and falls from the right to left. Finding the putting surface is only half the challenge. Approaches finishing above the hole leave quick downhill putts where speed becomes every bit as important as direction. The 11th reminds golfers that great architecture links every shot together. A well played drive creates opportunity, a poorly positioned one creates recovery. The 12th demonstrates one of Dr. Mackenzie's greatest strengths, creating strategic complexity without relying on overwhelming length. Played as par 5 for members and a demanding par 4 in championship competition, the hole bends naturally from right to left, following the movement of the land itself. The preferred drive challenges a line of bunkers along the left hillside, rewarding courage with the ideal angle into the green. Safer drives to the right find plenty of fairway, but surrender both position and opportunity. The second shot appears straightforward, yet subtle features quietly influence every decision. A cross bunker guards the approach, while a gentle rise at the front left of the green can deflect slightly misjudged shots away from the putting surface. Precision rather than power remains the key. Like so many holes at Royal Melbourne, the green rewards approaches arriving from the correct angle. Golfers who have earned that positions are left with realistic birdie chances, while those approaching from the wrong side face far more difficult putts across gentle but influential contours. The 12th is strategic golf in its purest form. Nothing is forced, nothing is wasted. Every advantage is earned through intelligent positioning. The 13th proves that greatness in golf architecture has little to do with length. At just 147 yards, it requires only a short iron. Yet it remains one of the West Coast's most exacting one shot holes. From the elevated tee, the green appears welcoming against the rugged backdrop of the Australian sandbelt. But its greatest defense is the putting surface itself. Subtly crowned through the center, the green sheds ball towards bunkers and tightly mown runoffs on every side. A shot that looks perfectly in the air can quickly become a delicate recovery. Success depends on precise distance control. Players must land the ball on the correct section of the green, allowing its natural contours to feed gently towards the hole. Missing long is especially costly, with a steep rear slope leaving one of the most delicate recoveries on the course. The 13th embodies Mackenzie's belief that a beautifully contoured greens can defend itself better than any water hazard or forced carry. It is subtle, understated, and unforgettable, a reminder that golf's greatest challenges often come in its smallest packages. The 14th demonstrates how a modest length par 4 can possess extraordinary strategic depth. At only 366 yards, it tempts longer hitters to attack, yet every advantage still depends upon one thing: position. The fairway appears generous, but the ideal line is carefully defended. Dense T3 protects the left side, while drives drifting too far right leaves a far more demanding angle into one of the West Coast's most brilliantly defended greens. That green is the true masterpiece, falling gently from the front right to back left and surrounded by nine distinctive bunkers. It rewards approaches arriving from the correct side of the fairway. Each bunker serves a purpose, quietly influencing the preferred line of play without ever overwhelming the golfer. Even after reaching the putting surface, the challenge continues. The subtle contours demand precise pace, rewarding thoughtful positioning far more than aggressive play. The 14th is classic Royal Melbourne, proof that strategic brilliance is measured not by length but by how every feature works together. At first glance, the 15th appears generous. A broad fairway stretches invitingly ahead, suggesting one of the easier holes on the course. But like so many of Mackenzie's finest creations, its true complexity reveals itself only one shot at a time. The ideal drive finds the right half of the fairway, opening the clearest angle into the green, while avoiding the long line of bunkers guarding the left. Position rather than distance alone creates the opportunity. The second shot introduces another strategic decision. Cross bunkers and natural mounds stand approximately 100 meters short of the green. Longer hitters may challenge them in pursuit of the putting surface, while others choose to lay up to a preferred distance. Neither option is wrong, only the execution determines the outcome. The elevated green provides the final examination. A pronounced false front rejects any approach lacking sufficient carry, while subtle internal contours reward players who arrive from the correct angle. Birdie chances belong to those who have planned the hole well from the very beginning. The 15th never demands aggression, yet it constantly tempts it. Its strategy unfolds naturally, revealing why Royal Melbourne remains one of the purest expressions of strategic golf architecture ever created. The 16th is the longest par 3 on Royal Melbourne's west course and one of its most demanding one shot tests. At 221 yards, it requires both length and precision, yet its true defense lies in the remarkable design of the green complex. From the tee, the putting surface is framed by a dramatic sea of Sandbelt bunkers. A sprawling bunker dominates the left side, while additional bunkers guard the front right approach, creating an intimidating visual challenge that naturally influences the line of play. Avoiding one hazard too cautiously often brings another into consideration. The shot itself demands complete commitment. The green is relatively small for its length, requiring a long iron or hybrid to finish in precisely the right position. Any approach lacking sufficient carry is gathered by the front bunkers, while shots drifting beyond the center can release over the back edge, leaving delicate recoveries from firm, tightly mown slopes. Even after finding the green, the examination continues. Subtle contours reward precise placement rather than simply reaching the putting surface, making distance control just as important as accuracy. The 16th proves that a great long par 3 does not need dramatic hazards or overwhelming length. It simply asks for one exceptional golf shot. The 17th is one of Royal Melbourne's finest strategic doglegs, where the first decision shapes everything that follows. The ideal drive challenges the inside corner of the dogleg, flirting with two well positioned bunkers that reward courage with the best angle into the green. Choosing the safer route to the right finds more fairway, but leaves a longer and far less favorable approach. From there, the hole unfolds naturally across the rolling Sandbelt landscape. The approach invites the traditional running shot, allowing golfers to use the firm fairway and natural contours exactly as Dr. MacKenzie intended. Rather than demanding a towering aerial approach, the land itself becomes part of the strategy. The green appears understated, yet subtle movements quickly reward or punishes the quality of the approach. Players arriving from the correct angle are rewarded with genuine birdie opportunities, while those approaching from the wrong side face far more demanding putts. The 17th is architecture at its most elegant. It never dictates a single route, it simply rewards the golfer who chooses wisely. Every memorable round deserves a memorable finish, and Royal Melbourne provides one of golf's finest closing holes. The tee shot is played partially blind over rising ground towards a fairway that gradually reveals itself beyond the crest. A solitary bunker on the distant hillside serves as the visual guide, tempting longer hitters to challenge its line while offering a safer alternative to the left. Yet, as throughout the course, the boulder line earns the better angle for the next shot. The fairway tilts noticeably from right to left, often leaving the ball above the player's feet and placing one final demand on precise ball striking. The approach must carry a line of cross bunkers before reaching a beautifully contoured green that falls gently from left to right. Simply reaching the putting surface is not enough. The correct section of the green is everything. Approaches finishing beneath the hole offer confident uphill putts, while those above the flag leave nervy downhill efforts on the firm sandbelt surfaces. It is a fitting conclusion to the West Course. No unnecessary spectacle, no artificial drama, just one final examination of strategy, precision, and thoughtful golf. Walking from the 18th green, golfers leave with far more than a scorecard. They leave with a deeper appreciation of why Royal Melbourne is regarded as one of the greatest golf courses ever created. There are golf courses that test your swing, and then there are golf courses that change the way you see the game. Royal Melbourne belongs to the latter. Here, every bunker has a purpose, every contour tells a story, and every shot is shaped as much by the land as by the golfer. Having had the privilege of spending time with the Royal Melbourne course maintenance team, I came to appreciate that this remarkable course is not defined simply by its design, but by the quiet dedication of the people who preserve it every single day. Their work allows Dr. Mackenzie's masterpiece to be experienced exactly as it was intended. Long after the final putt has dropped, what remains is not only the memory of remarkable holes, but a deeper appreciation for golf course architecture at its very finest. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host Bhupendra Singh, and this is the Golfing Circle. See you in the next episode at another golf course.